So, last Friday, I was on my way back from Richmond, Ohio. I just got a load off that morning, got empty on my way back to North Carolina. On the highway, chilling, cruising, no problem. Passed the state trooper, right? Saw the state trooper, didn't think nothing about the state trooper. Speed limit was 65. I looked up at my GPS, like, okay, this shit said 65, right? Now, as I go up a ways, I get about another mile down the road, got these blue lights coming up behind me, fast as fuck. Now I'm like, oh, fuck, what the fuck I do? I couldn't have been speeding because this shit was 65. I can't go no more than 65, and this truck is governed at 65, right? So I pull over, he pulls in behind me. This motherfucking cave cop comes over to my window, and I ask him, well, what you pull me over for? That's my question. He said, well, do you know how fast you was going? I said, yeah, I can't go no more than 65. I was going 65. He said, well, the speed limit became 50 through a construction zone back there. And I said, oh, fuck. And he said license registration. Well, not license registration, but license and the inspection for the truck and the trailer. He needed all the information. When you drive in a big truck, it's a little different. He needed for the truck and the trailer. So I gave him all this stuff, right? And he says, well, I'm going to have you follow me up here. We're going to go into this area so I can do a full truck inspection. And if you drive trucks, you know damn well these fucking DOT motherfuckers, sometimes they be on some bullshit. But in this case, he got me dead to rights. I was speeding through that zone. He wants to do an inspection while the ticket and everything. He wants to put all this in one little gift, wrap it all up for me and place it in my lap, right? So I say, all right. So I follow him up to this area. He comes up to me and tells me to send him my ELD logs. These are your HOS logs. And some people that drive trucks are driving under the ELD system. You have these federal mandates, federal laws that you have to follow as far as how long you can drive, when you gotta take a break, and all this shit. You log that shit in every day. Now they're doing it where it's electronically, and now when a motherfucking DOT officer pull you over, you have to be able to send those to him without question. There are some drivers that get themselves fucked up because they don't know how to do this. Make sure you know how to do this. It makes for a smoother process. There's been guys that's gotten full-blown tickets because they don't know how to send their logs to the DOT officer, state trooper, or whatever. They don't know how to send it. Make sure you know how to do this, and particularly if you're black. What everybody else doing, I ain't really worried about. Make sure you know how to do this. Make sure it's a smooth process. You have all your documentation. You know exactly what you're supposed to do. Okay? This is only my second time having to send my logs over to anyone. And when I started working for this company, they did it a little different than the company before. So I made sure I knew exactly how to do it per how this company works. Make sure you know how to do that so it can be smooth. You want to be smooth. And at this time, I'm trying to do this shit, but I didn't verify my logs from the day before. At the end of most days, you're a truck driver, you're going to have to verify your logs. So I go back in there, verify the logs real quick, send them over to him. He asks me, he says, well, is there anything I'm about to see in these logs that may look a little, a little fucked up? And I'm an honest person, so I said, okay. Yesterday when I was on the way to Ohio, I went over my drive time by about 30 minutes because I was driving through that area where they had a construction. I had nowhere to pull over to. So I told him that straight up. Okay? Told him that straight up. He said, little 30 minutes. I won't make such a big deal out of that. So he goes back to his, back to his car and shit. He pulls out the roll board, the gauge, and write his pen and pad to do this inspection. Now, if you've never done an inspection before, what you must know, what you have to know is your lights. They're going to check your lights first. Check your lights, your brakes. They're going to check under your hood. They're going to check all that shit. Make sure you got the tread depth in your tire correct. All my shit's good, though. I'm all set on all of this. So as he's doing his inspection, he starts trying to make small talk, right? He goes to talking to me about, how long y'all been working for the company. I told him, not too long, less than a year. Actually looking for something different because I want to be home more for my kids. I'm on the road 6 days a week right now. 6 days a week, I'm out here on the road, right? So I tell him this. And he's like, okay, well, I can understand that. You want to get home and be with your kids. A lot of guys don't think about how much truck drivers sacrifice to be on the road. I say, well, you're right. Now, understand this conversation, if you can hear, I'm not being extra. I don't, even though it's a cave, state trooper, cave DOT, I'm not being extra. I know the answers to the questions, answer the questions. I know everything. I just, boom, and we flow through. No tension, no nothing. Now, there was a point after he does the outside inspection where he's doing the lights and all this shit. He said, we're going to pop the hood and we're going to look under the hood and I'm going to slide under the truck and make sure, your brakes good and everything like that. Okay? He does all this. He jumps inside my truck because I had stepped out at this time to get the triangles. Because they're going to ask you for your triangle. Your hazard triangles, y'all see them all the time when truck drivers broke down. They got 3 triangles behind their truck. This is what you need to know where these are, be able to locate them. He's also going to check your fire extinguisher. Make sure you know where that is and that it's fully charged. Okay? Because everything was going through so smooth, we not having no issue. He jumps up in my truck. After he's done, he's checking it, so he pumps the brakes all the way down to make sure that my end cab or my trailer brake and my end cab, my tractor brake, they pop out. You'll remember this if you remember truck driving school where you had to do this shit. Pump the brake pressure all the way down to 0, and they're supposed to pop out. So he jumps in my truck to do that. I noticed when he jumps in my truck to do that, he saw my screensaver on my phone. The screensaver on my phone, or the wallpaper on my phone, is the one y'all see me using all the time with the black man lynching the Klansman. That's my screensaver. Now, when he saw that, I could tell he looked at me and looked back at it, but he didn't mention it because I was ready for his ass. Had he said anything about the picture, had he said anything about being offended by it, because I've had one other state trooper, which I told that story here on my channel, that actually said, it's hatred and all this shit, gave me this long speech about how hateful it was. And I told him, unless you relate to the Klan, there's no form of hate here. There's nothing hateful about this. Unless you identify with this Klansman, then I don't see what your issue is. We talked about that confrontation on another video I did on this channel. This guy didn't say anything. He jumped down from the truck and he's going back to his car. I said, man, look, I know by now you've ran my driving record. I know you ran it. So is there any way you could not write me a ticket for the speeding? I flat out asked him. I asked him, is there any way you could not write me a ticket for the speeding? I was looking at my GPS. I didn't see the sign. Is there any way you could not give me a ticket for that? Because that was, 65, 50, that's 15 miles over. That could fuck up your driving record. If you have a CDL, they could fuck your driving record up. And I didn't want that. He said, well, man, he said, what I'll do is I'll just give you a warning for the speed. Since everything else checked out, which I was surprised he said that. I thought he was going to say, man, get the fuck out of here. You getting this ticket today. You know what I'm saying? Like, you going to learn today. And I saw your screensaver, your wallpaper. You going to learn today. He said he would give me a warning for the speed, which surprised me. But I was going to ask. I wasn't on no bullshit. Hey, is there any way? I don't want to mess my driving record. You see my record's clean. I don't want to mess that up. He said, man, I know you said something about you got this interview coming up, and I ain't trying to mess up your driving record either. Right? This is how this interaction goes. He finishes up, brings me the inspection, tells me I need to sign it and send it to the company to let them know that the inspection happened. I passed the inspection, gave me a warning for the speed. Now, unlike most black people, I don't cower to no caves. Y'all know we don't do that here. We don't believe in that. I knew the information. I knew where everything was. I was able to go through the inspection seamlessly. That's how you want to be. You don't be flustered, nervous, all that shit. Ain't gonna do you no good anyway. Like I said, I've seen guys that got tickets just because they don't know how to send their logs over to the troopers, send it to him. They don't know how to do that. Make sure you know all this shit. Everything goes seamlessly. I asked him, could he not write me a ticket for it? He said, okay, I'll give you a warning, but don't look at the GPS, pay attention to the signs. I said, all right, you got it. Right? Now, I'm not telling you this story. One, I'm giving truck drivers information as to how to conduct yourself during one of these types of inspections. And two, this is not a story, because black folk will take a story like this and say, look at what the cave done for me. See, they ain't all bad. I told y'all they went all bad. I'm not doing that. I'm not about to do none of that. Just because this was a favorable experience. And I don't really have, unfavorable experiences with the caves, whether it's state troopers or caves out here at life at the store. I don't go through none of that. But this is not a story where I'm going to say, well, here's this one good experience I had, and now you niggas is tripping when y'all talk about racism. Black folk will do that. Black folk will do that. Well, I had one that he didn't give me a speeding ticket, so now, no. Hell no. That's not what type of story this is. It's not going to end in that. That's not the type of shit I'm on. I get favoritism, or not really favoritism, but I think I'm granted favor in the universe in situations like this because of my energy and because of how I am and how I exist in this world. I think it has everything to do with that. Absolutely everything. I'm unapologetic, unashamed. I have the utmost confidence in who I am. And thus, life gonna give me some positive energy back. I don't bite my tongue. I don't tuck my tail. I don't do none of that. Now, again, y'all heard the as I told you the conversation, I wasn't on no rah-rah extra ass shit. Well, oh, fuck, man. Fuck you. You stopped me from no. I wasn't on all that extra shit. Answer the questions. Know my shit. And we go straight through. It is what it is. And like the way I learned, closed mouth don't get fed. So I asked him about that damn ticket. Could you not give me the speeding ticket? And he obliged. He obliged. Again, I really feel like if black people were more proud of ourselves, more proud in who we are, and more militant, I feel like we'd have more favorable outcomes out here in society. I'm getting back the energy I put out here. Now, I was mad as fuck when I saw them lights come on. I was like, oh, fuck, I didn't know what was going to happen, what was wrong or whatever. But everything went seamlessly. Now, it took me about an hour to go through this entire process of the inspection and all that. So it held me back from getting home a little later than I wanted to. But I wanted to make sure truck drivers know, if you have this, know your shit. Know what you're supposed to do, okay? Don't be fumbling over your fucking words. Don't be all discombobulated and fumbling around in your truck and all. There ain't no need for all that. Know your shit, be confident. Know your shit and be confident. I'm not saying you gonna not get a ticket at all times. Because he could have gave me a ticket for the speeding because I was really speeding. That was a true life. He could have gave me a ticket for that. So I'm not telling you if you be confident and know your shit, you just gonna get out of every situation. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is, this is my experience that I had, and it's the second time I've been stopped by a DOT officer, and I have had no issues. No issues at all. Know your shit. Be proud of who you are at all times, black people. The reason I come on here and tell these type of stories is, I'm trying to show black people that you don't have to be a buck dancing coon all your life to get favor in this society. You don't have to do that. Now, you may not make the biggest riches or whatever like that in the world by selling your fucking soul and cooning and buck dancing, but you will have favorable experiences not only with the caves, but with other people in general. You will have favorable experiences out here if you just not think that you have to coon and buck dance and yes sir, yes sir, yes sir. You don't have to do all that. And I'm showing y'all this for real. This is how it really can be. Again, it may not get you out of everything, but this is the best way for us to be as a people, in my personal opinion. And the reason I know, I believe this, is because it's something we haven't tried. By now, according to black folk, I was supposed to be shot dead by the cops. He was supposed to have a problem with me or issue with me for, you know, my screensaver or whatever. He was supposed to have an issue with all of that. I was supposed to get fired, have caves run up on me, and, you know, be shamed. I was supposed to do all that, and that's how I'm supposed to make it in his life. But we don't do that here, okay? To my black truck drivers out here, stay safe. Pay attention to these motherfucking signs, because there can be a construction zone. And it was. It ain't like I could say he was lying. It could be a construction zone that happened. There wasn't no workers on the road, though. There wasn't no workers on the road, so I mean, I kept on rolling. But pay attention to your signs and be on your shit, okay? Shout out Team Rob, y'all already know what the fuck it is. Black first, second, and third. And this ain't just for YouTube, y'all. This ain't just for social media. This is how I exist in everyday life. And I'm still alive. And I get respect no matter what room I'm in. I'm out.